I'm going to preface this video by saying I'm not writing anything down. I'm just jumping right into it. Watched the movie 2 days ago, and this is not going to be as well thought out and clean and clear and crisp as my Star Wars breakdown videos. So enjoy. What's up, guys? Here's my Rebel Moon review. If you were here during the watch party for my Rebel Moon watch party, then you kind of got like a glimpse of my initial reaction. And if you haven't seen it, you can check it out on the channel. Link below. So let's get into it. Okay, so this film, we're going to go good and bad, what I did and didn't like. And these are just my opinions, so don't get bent out of shape, all right? This film combines some of my favorite films, the stories all into one, okay? You got Seven Samurai, you got Lord of the Rings, you got Harry Potter, you got Star Wars, right? And then you have like some video game stuff and whatever else thrown in there. Essentially, let me give you the quick rundown of what this film's about. Very Star Wars-esque. And if you didn't know, it was pitched originally as a Star Wars film to Lucasfilm. They denied it. And Zack Snyder, who I really love, Man of Steel, his other movies, they're okay, but Man of Steel is like amazing. I really like that movie. He went on to do this with Netflix. And it's two parts. So the first part really is a Seven Samurai kind of thing. So the Empire, which is called the Empire, comes down to this planet of farmers. They essentially say, hey, we want all of your farmland, we want all of your soy, we want all of your crops and your grains. And they're like, no. So he kills the main guy, main Imperial guy, kills the main guy with all of their might and power that they come there with all their guns and everything. The army comes in. And the main guy of the village, of the planet with the farmers, kills the main farmer. Everyone freaks out, village freaks out, and then they're like, okay, look, we have to pony up the grains. So they say, okay, we'll see you in 10 weeks. And the Empire leaves a bunch of Imperial soldiers who are real disgusting schmuck men. So the village decides to farm really hard and prove their worth to the Empire so they would be spared. In the meantime, the Imperial soldiers that are left on the planet tried to take advantage of one of the girls, a young girl. And so the main chick, the main character, who's a girl, takes her axe and she beats the crap out of literally every soldier, which is, to me, was unbelievable and unlikely. These guys are like just massive, jacked, trained Imperial warriors and with guns, and she just beats the crap out of all of them. Now, her backstory is she was also an Imperial. She was extremely trained. She was very good at her craft, and there was a love story there at that one point. The guy died. She was very upset, and she eventually became disillusioned with the Empire and went on her own way. And she was a child of war, so she's always known war. So she has backstory. At least it's not like Rey, where it's just like, here you go. You know, there's actual story there. However, I just think it was kind of unlikely that she would beat the crap out of all of them. I didn't enjoy the choreography. I think, you know, when they were, you know, swinging stuff, they were like going over them so that they wouldn't hit them and whatnot. You know, I'm a prequel guy. I'm used to the prequels and the sword fights. If you weren't ready, you get whacked real hard in the face. And that's just choreography, down to the choreography there. So it took me out of the film like that. There was a lot of slow-mo that took me out of the film. And I feel like it was building momentum nicely. And then there's so much slow-mo that just takes you completely out. And it slows the momentum of where the director is leading you. So it's a little too much for me, but I guess he thinks it looks cool. That's his thing, whatever. For me, I'm not a fan. So eventually she saves the day. She saves the girl. She goes on this journey to find a bunch of other rebel leaders, you know, of their own right. We find a gladiator. We find a leader of some group, some tribe. We find Charlie Hunnam's character who was in some bar. And then we got like the straggler dude who's just kind of, honestly, kind of like a loser and very wimpy from the village. And we got a few others that I can't really remember, to be honest. But anyways, the whole story is essentially her finding a crew of admirable and honorable warriors and people. So it's interesting. I was into it. The first half to maybe 3/4 of the film, I'm like, all right, this is cool. I like this. You know, you got a bit of Harry Potter in there with the hippogriff. The guy has to bow to it, which literally is like a rip off of a lot of different, literally a rip. I mean, it's called the Imperials and the Rebels, literally. So it's, you know, not super unique, but that's fine, whatever. I'm here for the story, right? So we go and find this band of people. And then we get to the point where they're all captured and the Empire comes in to capture them. They end up getting freed. She is so overpowered, the main chick, and she just kind of beats everybody. Just no problem. You know, she never gets really hurt or shot or anything like that. She just blaster bolts are whizzing by her. She's okay. And it's just kind of unbelievable to me, you know, that somebody is that freaking proficient at dodging and just has a horseshoe up their ass the whole movie. I'm like, okay, you know, like Luke Skywalker failed so many times. Anakin Skywalker failed so many times. These are characters that are believable because they fail. And even in the end, they still fail, right? This chick doesn't fail. She just keeps winning and winning and winning and winning. So for me, I feel like it was just kind of too unbelievable in a lot of senses. Anyways, she fights the main boss, the main Imperial bad guy. She kicks his ass. She throws him overboard, this floating little platform thing, and he falls to his death, to his doom. He gets resurrected and saved by the Empire. He has some sort of like vision sequence with the king of the Empire, I suppose, or something, and is told that, hey, if you do not succeed in bringing this traitor, this woman, the main girl, to me or to the Empire, I'm capturing her, killing her, then I'm going to torture you. And that was sort of like his motivation. And I was thinking, well, couldn't it be something maybe a little bit bigger at stake here that would be, a little more important? Like, oh no, he gets tortured. Well, we want him to die anyways. So, for him, I think there would be maybe something more at stake, perhaps like cares more about the Empire. It's like, well, maybe she has, heck, why not rip it from A New Hope? Maybe she has the plans to destroy the whole Empire. Okay, let's go for that, right? But no, let's just find her, otherwise you die. And so the movie ends with them going back home to the village, and then we see there was a robot that the Empire brought in the very beginning that I didn't mention because I forgot, but he was actually really cool. He was a cool character, and he ended up working with the village to kind of save the day a little bit, and had the final shot to kill the general that was left there, one of the generals that was left on the planet, and save the girl who he kind of had a bond with. And we see him at the end of the film. We didn't see him anymore. We see him at the end of the film on the planet, and he's sort of become this like a warrior in the jungle sort of thing with antlers on his head of an elk or a deer, and he's just looking at the camera, and then the scene ends. The movie ends. And so the movie was, for the first half, I was interested, I was invested, except for the parts that took me out, of course, like the slow-mo, and the chick just beating the crap out of literally everybody, every man that came across. She just annihilated them. There was that. And also, I just feel like it was too much exposition. The whole thing, right? And at the end, when they kind of blew up the base of the Empire, one of the bases on this planet, they were like, oh, we've made a stand here today. This is an act of defiance. This is going to strike hope into a lot of people. Literally just like a rip off of Andor or a rip off of Star Wars. It's inspired by, I can say. And I didn't hate the film, but I just felt like there were a lot of things where I'm like, ugh, really? Okay, fine, whatever. But maybe in episode 2, we can actually, and you know what? That's what it is, dude. It's like we're constantly having to go through season 1 of a show or episode 1 of a movie or something to finally get to the actual thing. You know what I mean? I'm sure we can speed that along somehow in some sort of way and still have the same level of exposition, but we can do it maybe by increasing the movie's length by another 45 minutes and adding more story or more action or more climax or whatever it might be. Whereas here sometimes it's with the shows like on Disney Plus, for example, not to compare this to Disney Plus, but we get, something that's 3 episodes worth story-wise, dragged out into 8 to 12 episodes. In this movie, I feel like it was very similar. There was maybe something that could have been done within, let's say 45 minutes, was dragged out for probably, I'd say, an hour and 45 minutes. And the last 15 minutes was pretty much just the climax of the film where they fight. And it was just like an anti-climactic kind of fight. It was like, okay, tons of slow-mo. Let's pretty much kill off a lot of the dudes. And the girl bosses just keep winning. And it's like, well, all right, cool, man. But, can we have some guys win too now? I know we've had it for so many years, but how about we have some equality, right? How about we have some both? And I just think that would have been a little more realistic. Whereas in this case, it was just so much of, she just was so good at everything. She was just beating the shit out of everybody and shooting everybody. There were so many openings for her to die. And she didn't. She didn't get shot. She didn't get whacked. She didn't get hit. Nothing. And to that, I'm like, makes it unbelievable, right? So, one thing, movie making wise, I think, is just so lame in choreography moments when they swing. Instead of swinging straight, they swing, they go up. And you can kind of see this arc. Well, you're not really trying to hit them. You're missing in case the actor messes up. And, to mitigate that, you either have a better choreographer, you either practice more with your actors, or you just do it in CG or something like that, where it just looks more real. This is a real fight. They're trying to take each other's heads off, It just takes you out of the film. And anything that takes you out of the film and breaks that level of immersion, in the end, will take the person and give them it'll give the film a lower rating, in my opinion, because you're constantly being taken out and blue-balled from this immersion that you're enjoying. And I feel the film did do a great job of the immersion for me in the first half of the film. And then it just started to drag on a little too long. It was jumping from too many characters, and it jumped around way too much, I think. And instead of focusing on kind of the main deal, it was just focusing on the sort of almost backstory and character development of each new character that they were bringing in. And if you're going to do that, then I feel like, we need another hour to the film, or we need you to do it faster. Cut out some of the fluff that we don't need so that we get to knowing all the characters, at least as much as we can, within about 45 minutes. But this is why the Seven Samurai movie is so long, is because it takes time to build these characters. All these characters, you got to build their backstories. So have a longer runtime, and I guess maybe the director's cut will have that, but no, because we get to the ending, we just need a shorter exposition of those characters, and we need a little more of the climax. I didn't like the ending. The battle or whatever it was too lame for me. They're captured, and then all of a sudden she's free, and then she's like shooting everybody, and she's just annihilating. It was just a little too convenient for me, a little too girl bossy, a little too OP. And I don't want to say Mary Sue because she had a backstory already, but kind of. Like if it was a dude, you'd say the same thing, like Gary Stu. So, I don't want to hear that sort of rhetoric going around. But yeah, look, I give the film like a 6 out of 10. And again, I like Zack Snyder's films. Zack Snyder seems like a fine guy. I don't know him, but I haven't heard anything horrible about him. Seems like he wanted to create something that he thought of when he was a kid after being inspired by Star Wars, and he did that. However, he included a lot of other things in there from Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, and the Turok character, for example, right? Like he literally bowed to the hippogriff. There's a hippogriff. He literally bowed to it. When you're going to do something like that, you have to at least change the character so it doesn't look like a hippogriff. Change it to a dragon, change it to a giant lizard, change it to whatever, and maybe incorporate some other way to kind of humbly go around and show yourself to this beast and tell it that you're okay, you're not going to hurt it, instead of bowing because it's already been so done, but it's been so done in something that's so huge like Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So other than that, the movie was fine. It's just if you hate the movie, then you can't really like any of the other films that you've enjoyed, because it literally pulls from all of those, pulls all the tropes and all the stories and everything from all of those films. So it's like, okay, it's literally just taking the stuff that we love and using it, right, and jumbling it all together, which is fine if it was just a little bit faster or there was longer runtime and the ending wasn't so anticlimactic with the dude returning. Like, either stay dead or bring in some new, bigger bad guy who is going to make the scene even more terrifying and bring around for the next one. Like with, what was it? Guardians of the Galaxy, or was it Avengers? The first Avengers? It was Ronan, right? Big bad. And then Thanos comes in. Like, oh shit, it's Thanos. Oh my God. This guy should have been Ronan. Then Thanos should have came in. That would have been much better. They could have had him, radioing in with some bigger bad dude higher up in the Empire. Why not? They did that with Dune, and I think that worked really, really well. And now that guy's coming out, and he's going to be badass in Dune 2. So we're looking forward to that. So there's a lot that I think could have been done if they was just tweaked a little bit, and they didn't make the girl boss so OP. So at the end of the day, that's my review of the film. 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10 if I'm being generous. And it needs to slow down on the chill out on the slow motion. But other than that, yeah, it was fine. It was enjoyable. It probably looks amazing when I watch it downstairs in the theater, but I watched it on my computer here with you guys. So let me know what you think of the film. If you enjoyed it, let me know why. If you didn't, let me know why. Are you going to watch part 2? Are you going to watch the director's cut? Are you going to watch the director's cut? I think he's going to have a few versions of this film, but why not just include it in the first one? You know what I mean? That's my review of Rebel Moon. Not quite new Star Wars, in my opinion, but fair enough. Better than some of the other crap that we've been getting in Hollywood, but also quite similar, if that makes any sense. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching my review, and I'll see you in the next video.